For as long as I can remember, I found connections and collaborations really cool. Something about people working together, even if I'm not necessarily a huge fan of theirs, has always been very pulling to me. Images like these have always just tickled my brain in a way only a neurologist could fully explain, to the point where this is something I would look into in my free time, unlike those weirdos that party and have friends. I love music, and finding new and obscure music specifically, and sometime last year I decided to put these interests together, and I decided to map out every single musician I could, and now to present it to all of you. Sit back, grab some snacks, and prepare to learn a whole lot of useless information. A few ground rules before we start. Pause to give them a read, because I'm sure this video is going to end up long enough. Time for the big reveal. Here is the full map. My biggest question was where to start, and I guess I may as well start with where the actual thing started. Lil Peep, my favourite artist and cause of a tattoo on my real actual body. Peep branches off to Gabe, Young Goth, Fall Out Boy, Wickerface Springs Eternal, Juicy J, Milcavelli, I Love McConan, Craig Zen, and of course, Lil Tracy. From Milcavelli, we can also bring in Jackson D. Sylvia, Wickerface was a member of Tiger's Jaw, and Craig Zen also gives us Jaleel. The rest go on longer branches, so let's get more mainstream via Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy gets us collaborations with Princess Nokia and 100 gecs. Princess Nokia has songs with Ashniko, Baby Tate and Nina Geraci, and Nina Geraci connects to Oh Boy. Back to gecs, thanks to 10,000 gecs in the Tree of Clues, we get tons to go on here. Directly to gecs we can connect Linkin Park, Charlie XCX, 303, Danielle Hall, and 99 Jakes, and a whole lot of ways we can go from here. I'll go with Charlie for the minute. She links to Rina Sawayama, Joel Corey, No Rome, Icona Pop, Troye Sivan, Caroline Polachek, Christine and the Queens, and Cupcake, an amazingly varied batch. No Rome also gets us the 1975, Joel Corey brings in MNEK, and Icona Pop have a song with Chiddy Bang. Going on some mini branches here, Troye Sivan gets us to Casey Musgraves and Ali X, who further gives us Mitski. Cupcake links to Cobra, and via Caroline Polachek we can go on a bit of a specific branch I was really proud of. Caroline Polachek links to A.G. Cook, who links to Girl, who links to Henrik the Artist, and finally gets us to Pasha, an awesome Norwegian rapper who is so good and I cannot recommend enough. He is great. He also brings in Soul Gem and is a member of GOL with Kosheron, adding 2 more to our list. Stepping back a little, 303 also links us to Kesha, who weirdly has a song with Iggy Pop, who even weirdlier has a song with Måneskin. Researching this project has made me stumble upon so many weird collabs like this, and there's plenty more coming to you. Gonna step back even further to Lil Tracy and finish off a branch down there. Tracy links to Brennan Savage, who has collabs with Lil Lotus and Kill Station, who then links to Hollywood Undead of all people, and HU connects to Iman Beck along with Papa Roach. Let's go back again, you're gonna have to get used to this. This time to I Love McConan. From him we get Drake and Pussy Riot, and Drake I added a little late for some reason, so a lot of artists you're probably expecting here will come later down the line. From him though we do get Travis Scott, then Schoolboy Q from Travis. Schoolboy Q has a song with Far East Movement, and they have a song with Cover Drive. Let's get to one of my other favourite artists. Through Danielle Hall, we can get Clairo, but also the illustrious queen of pop herself, Carly Rae Jepsen. Carly Rae links us to MXM Tune, Owl City, who then gets us Smash Mouth somehow, and Carly Rae also gets us a very helpful node on this map, The Knocks. Credited producers are some of the most valuable things in this endeavour. In fact, let's go down their branch now. The Knocks give us the very interesting collection of Fetty Wap, Royal and the Serpent, Studio Killers, and Weezer. From Royal and the Serpent we can also get Slush Puppy and Gale. Weezer gives us our next path, connecting to Fitz and the Tantrums, and frontman Rivers Cuomo linking over to everyone's favourite flat earther, B.O.B., who is kind enough to get us Bruno Mars and Hayley Williams, also netting us Silk Sonic and Paramore in the process. Silk Sonic is also, of course, 50% Anderson .Paak, who also links us to Mac Miller. Bruno also gets us CeeLo Green and Mark Ronson, with CeeLo bringing in Outkast and Jack Black with Tenacious D part and parcel. Closing off this branch, Mark Ronson links in Amy Winehouse and Robbie Williams. Robbie finishes us out with being a member of Take That along with Gary Barlow, and having songs with Dizzy Rascal and Hans Zimmer, range I can only ever dream of having. Quick check-in, this is how far through we are. That's how many are left. Yeah. Let's pick up on a few more smaller paths. Back over to MXMtoon, who also gives us Lily Pichu, Sean Wasabi, Chloe Moriando, and Lovejoy, frontman by none other than Wilbur Sutt, of course. Chloe brings us to Alfie Templeman, along with Tessa Violet, who connects up with Cave Town, Lovely the Band, and I Don't Know How But They Found Me, one of the best and worst band names ever conceived. From Cave Town, we bring in Beedadoogie, Beegabooby, Beedagooby, Deegabooboo, Beebadoobie, who gets us Powfu, then to Sister Prod, to Alec Benjamin, to Dream. Yeah. Dream connects us to PM Barter, rounding out this branch, thankfully. Let's step way back to Ashniko, who also gives us Lady Gaga, Grimes, Kellis, and Hatsune Miku. Who else could ever? Grimes gets us to Poppy, who's got songs with Fever 333 and Health gets us Juju. Okay, I've scared the hose enough. Let's try and actually get some mainstream names in here. And who better than Gaga to help us? She gets us Tony Bennett, Lil Texas, Two Door Cinema Club, and Elton John. And while all very useful, Elton takes us to arguably the kings of collaboration, Gorillaz. Naturally, Gorillaz also gives us Damon Albarn and therefore Blur, but that is far from all. In come Danny Brown, Vince Staples, Kali Uchis, AJ Tracy, Popcorn, Black, De La Soul, Georgia, and Beck. Thank you, Damon. I love you. From here we get a few little ones. Beck gives us Johnny, who links to Mid. De La Soul's collaboration with DJ Shadow gets us King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And Georgia links in Dodie and Declan McKenna, who have songs with Tom Walker and Clipping, respectively. We can also throw Fizz in there from Dodie, therefore getting Ola Gartland, Greta Isaac, and Martin Luke Brown in on the fun. But we're not done with Gorillaz branches, as Danny Brown has a song with Dad, the Nathan Barnett character. Wonders never cease. Vince Staples also takes us to Kilo Quiche and Amine. I forgot how long this branch goes, but why stop now? Amine gets us to Slow Tie, which connects Flume and Shy Girl to Arca, to Rosalia and Bjork, and then, somehow, Death Grips. And just down the road from Death Grips, Flume also brings in Sophie, who gets us Kashmir Cat and M.O. M.O. gets us to Major Lazer, who gets The Prodigy, and then one of my personal white whales, an uncredited pair of Gallagher brothers on a Prodigy song brings in Liam Gallagher, Oasis, and Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. We are not done though, as The Prodigy also links to Pendulum, getting us Steven Wilson, who has collaborations with Biffy Clyro, King Crimson, and Jethro Tull. Remember when I was trying to go mainstream here? Let's actually cross off some big names now. Back to Elton, he also gives us RuPaul, and more importantly, Lil Nas X, also netting as Jack Harlow, Nas, Mason Ramsey, and both Miley and Billy Ray Cyrus. Nas also gives us Beastie Boys, and Miley loops in Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac in the process. Elton also connects to Nick Kershaw, bringing in Kim Wilde and the human punchline, Rick Astley. Going back to fellow Gaga collaborator Tony Bennett, he gets us Michael Bublé, then to Shania Twain, Bryan Adams, and the Bare Naked Ladies. From that though, we have to dip back into some niche names, but you'll find plenty of familiar faces on the other side. Lil Texas brings us to Dorian Electra, then another YouTube legend, Rebecca Black, who loops in Baby No Money, naturally taking us to Young Gravy. I suppose now Baby Gravy is an official separate act, so we can add that to the counter too. Gravy takes us to Ski Mask the Slump God, and then over to Juice WRLD, who in turn gives us Lil Tecca and Post Malone. That mainstream enough for ya? Post Malone nets us Young Thug, G-Eazy, Tyler Yahweh, The Weeknd, Ty Dolla $ign, and Ozzy Osbourne. Spot the odd one out there. G-Eazy takes us over to Britney Spears, to will.i.am, who naturally gives us the Black Eyed Peas and Fergie. And Sway is also a member of Ray Shremmerd, who gives us a man I know you've all been waiting for, Lil Xan. And let's follow The Weeknd next, getting us more big names in Ariana Grande, Swedish House Mafia, and Daft Punk. Daft Punk takes us down to Pharrell, a member of NERD, and collaborator with Janelle Monáe, Lil Uzi Vert, and Tyler the Creator. Janelle Monáe also links us to Fun, and Tyler gets us Rex Orange County. Uzi gets us a few more in Yeet, Muramasa, Migos, and Ian Dior. Muramasa then branches off to Pink Pantheress and A$AP Rocky, then Rocky to Skepta, to Wiley, and finally JME. Migos also gives us, of course, Quavo as well as Gucci Mane. Back over to Indigo, we get Glass Animals and 24K Golden, who goes to Florence and the Machine and Youngblood, respectively. Youngblood links to KSI, easily my least favourite pairing in the whole map, being honest with you. But KSI also nets us Anne-Marie, and from her we can bring in James Arthur, Little Mix, and Clean Bandit, who takes the branch from here. Clean Bandit goes over to Jess Glynn, then to Rudimental, looping in Macklemore, John Newman, and Scuba, who then gives us Car Seat Headrest, a name I did not expect down this branch. Macklemore closes this out by bringing in Tones and I and Martin Garrix. Next up we're back to Quavo, who gives us Madonna, who gives us then the possibly oddest collective of 070 Shake, LMFAO, and Mike fucking Tyson? Truly, there's no one doing it like her. LMFAO member Redfoo and Lil Jon are added on next, and Lil Jon brings in Usher. I'm not sure how to break this to you, but Redfoo then takes us to Stevie Wonder, whose only other link on here is to Barbra Streisand, who gets us some very fun links. Barbara gets us Billy Joel, Lionel Richie, Josh Groban, and none other than Elvis Presley. However, it's Josh Groban that rounds us out, adding in Sarah Bareilles and Leslie Odom Jr. to the mix. And Leslie ending this branch on a bang by connecting us to Hamilton himself, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Let's keep on those household names. Ariana is connected up to Doja Cat and Megan Thee Stallion. Mega links over to a powerful trio in Beyonce, Cardi B, and Dua Lipa. Dua then linking over to Calvin Harris. Calvin has his own little branch, adding Rehab and Lucas Graham and Timmy Trumpet, and finally Venga Boys to our chaotic little cast. Back over to another Dua connection, Sean Paul, who fetches in a neat variety of Simple Plan, The Saturdays, and Sia. From here we can get Zayn, who is, of course, a former member of One Direction, therefore adding on the rest of the boys, Harry, Liam, Niall, and Louis. The majority don't go anywhere, but Louis links to BB Rexa, who also gets in Florida Georgia Line, and Liam connects to J Balvin, French Montana, Rita Ora, and Dixie D'Amelio. Walking it back to Sia, she also ties in Diplo, who together with Labyrinth make up LSD, another one on the board. Diplo also goes to Joji, Lil Pump, and Cutie, who performs as Hyde nowadays. Joji is, of course, also Pink Guy, who has done music with Borgore and Guetta, aka Tara Reid. Lots of alter egos on this side of the graph. Joji also links in Clams Casino, who gets us Lana Del Rey and Twist. Rounding off this branch, Lil Pump gets us XXXTentacion, Carnage, Smoke Perp, Soulja Boy, and Tory Lanez, a posse cut I would love to never see. Still with me? Quick breather, here's what's left. So we're making good progress. I'm saving that bottom blob for the end. It's a very interesting mix. I hope you find it so too. Let's save some big names for later and go back to Dorian Electra. They have a very unique combo of Anna Managuchi, Alice Glass, Lil Mariko, Searle, Cara Cara Benito, and the Village People. KKB snags us Bo N, Anna Managuchi tags on 8485, and Lil Mariko connects us to Jani, who then brings in Alexis Monroe and Jasmine B. Alice Glass gives us a bigger offshoot, being a former member of Crystal Castles, and having a collab with Alice Longugal, two great Alices coming together. One more Alices? Alice Gas also ties onto Alice Longugal as well as Lil Eli. Sadly, Alice Cooper couldn't make it. But Alice Longugal also has a song with Fraxium, who then ties in Jane Remover, and is also half of Food House, the other half being Guppy. With that area cleaned up, Baby No Money is back on the block and has plenty of branches to follow. Connor Price first up, who also links in Nick D and Akintoye. Baby No Money also nets us Gone Flood, Mia Gladstone, Lil Mayo, Y2K, Lentra, Young Bay, Night Lovell, and D-Bangs. And Young Bay also brings in AWOL Nation. Gonna follow Night Lovell next, who gives us Corpse, then Omen 13, and another begrudging addition, Machine Gun Kelly. Rap Devil over here also gives us Mod Sun, Willow, The Used, and Kid Rock, truly the pillars of edgy Spotify playlists. Willow is of course a part of The Anxiety with Tyler Cole, and also pulls in Travis Barker and the other 181 Blinks with him, and Goody Grace from there. Travis Barker also graces Trippie Redd and Kenny Hoopla with his presence, and Trippie gives us Playboy Carti and Scarlord, with Lil Darky tacked on with Scar. Kenny leads us towards the end of the branch with a link with Nothing Nowhere, who then gives us Judge, Sad Eyes, and Gucci Highwaters. Garden links onto Gucci Highwaters, and Lil Extras tied to Sad Eyes ends another branch. Another strange mini branch comes from Mod Sun's connection with Avril Lavigne, who then gives us Lil Mama, who then gives us none other than Drake Bell. And Belle closes this off with Miranda Cosgrove and Caravan Palace, and finally, a Caravan Palace remix of a song by Caro Emerald. Remember what I said about how helpful credited producers are? Y2K. He brings in the Kid Laroi, Black Bear, and Enrique Iglesias, and Black Bear then leads us to Tiny Meat Gang and All Time Low. ATL then adds on Pale Waves and Demi Lovato, Demi gets us Sam Smith, and Sam Smith brings Naughty Boy into the fold. Naughty Boy then gives us Joe Jonas and the rare double band member, giving us DNCE and, of course, the Jonas Brothers. Not his only link though, we also have William Shatner, granting us Ben Folds and Regina Spektor. I was very proud of that one. Oh, also DNCE collabed with Rod Stewart. Okay, you've waited long enough, more big names for you. The Kid Laroi branches off to Justin Bieber, then netting us Billie Eilish, Ludacris and Luis Fonsi. These in order also give us Khalid, Tayo Cruz and Daddy Yankee. With that branch done, we come back to Young Bae and his ties to Max, then linking us to Hayley Kiyoko, Quinn92 and Sugar, who in turn nets us Psy and Sugar's little-known indie band, BTS. They also bring in Halsey and Coldplay bring in Selena Gomez and Ovenbach. Who are Ovenbach? An excuse to tie in Lack of Afro, then to Professor Elemental, and finally to Mr. B the Gentleman Rhymer, another white whale of mine. Trimming off the last of this branch, Coldplay ties in the Chainsmokers and also 5 Seconds of Summer. We've had enough big names now, let's go back to Lentra, or for the purposes of this, CEO at business.net. He's got links to Jungle Bobby and Shotgun Willie. Willie gives us Tracula, Lucian, Young Cracker and MC Virgins. Those boys then bring in Young Head and Savage Gasp, and Gasper ties in Illy Tommy, Freddie Dredd, Glaive and 93 Feet of Smoke. Glaive brings in Eric DOA, 93 Feet ties in Fem, and Freddie Dredd finishes this bit off with collabs with Matt Watson and Kill Bill the Rapper, who finally brings in Rob. Before we get back to Quinn92, we then get a link to Lewis the Child, where we can find Coin, Dinmo, Black Caviar, and Foster the People. And Dinmo, DNMO, I don't know, links in Mother Mother and Lewis Blissett. That was a nice quick branch, so let's jump over to D-Bangs. From Mr. Bangs, we can get Lil Boom, and therefore younger one, Puya, and Oliver Tree. Glossing over Oliver as quick as I can, from there we can get Little Big, and then Tommy Cash. And from Tommy Cash comes Kadia and Umru. Umru then gets us 645AR and Petal Supply, and Zolita from there. Skipping back to Puya, from him we can get Ghostmane, who then gets us Bexy, and from there we link in Booty Loot Ovelli, Suicide Boys, and Bring Me the Horizon. Not only bringing the Horizon, they also bring in Baby Metal, Masked Wolf, Sigrid, and Ice Peak, and then Kim Dracula from there. Riding it out, BMTH also gives us 6 Impala, and from there comes Underscores and Carol's Daughter. Big name time again, this time going back over to Ski Mask, who gives us DJ Scheme, and from there we get Lil Yachty and Kyle, where we find Kodak Black, and Kendrick Lamar slides in right after. Kendrick brings us over to Rihanna, Taylor Swift, Baby Keem, Summer Walker, and SZA, and she also has her own with Lorde. Since I've said her name now, Taylor takes us over to Phoebe Bridgers, Brendan Urie, and Bon Iver. Brendan is, of course, former frontman turned only member of Panic at the Disco, and also ties to Betty Blanco, where we also find Vance Joy, stockholder in the ukulele market, Six Dogs, and Marshmello tied in. Six Dogs also gets us Lil Skies on the roster. Phoebe Bridgers also ties on to the Killers, who bring on Katie Lang. Dipping back over to the fun fact one-man Tame Impala, we find Diana Ross and The Streets, who I will never understand the hype of. But Mr. Skinner does get us over to Idols, Anna Calvi, and finally Noah and the Whale. Now let's go back to Rihanna, who ties in Shakira, Eminem, and Sir Paul McCartney, who was once a Beatle and also formerly a Wing, and who has a wife, Linda McCartney of vegan sausage fame. He also collaborated with Michael Jackson, who I really feel like should have showed up sooner. Going back over to the spiritual lyrical miracle area, Eminem nets us Logic and then Tech 9. The King of Kansas City also brings us Snow the Product and Joyner Lucas, who also gets us I Prevail. Slim Shady also nets us Nicki Minaj, Pink, Akon, and Ed Sheeran. Nicki Minaj, while probably counting as about 10 people by herself, also brings along ASAP Ferg and Jessie J. Ed Sheeran, the decidedly harder core rapper, has songs with Camila Cabello and 50 Cent, who furthermore adds Pop Smoke and Lil TJ. Flying over to Pink brings in Lily Allen and Nate Ruess, who I didn't know was a member of Fun, so leave me alone. Also Jack Antonoff. Lily then brings in Benny and Giggs, and Benny has collabs with Flo Milli and Gus Dapperton. A surprisingly versatile collaborator is Akon, who brings us Gwen Stefani, The Lonely Island, and Sway. Sway gets us The Midnight Beast, The Click Click, and Cast of Lions, a triad of special requests by my lovely partner Cyber. Let's round off another branch with Giggs, who leads us to a band I guarantee you're not expecting up here. Giggs links us to Tidgy Strider, who then goes to N-Dubs, Dappy and Talisa in tow. Dappy then, as we all know, is a collaborator of Brian May, who, for the uninformed, is the guitarist of fucking Queen. N-Dubs. Queen. The full spectrum of British musical culture. Queen also nets us David Bowie and Wyclef Jean, and Bowie's link with Placebo rounds off this path. Two final little branches and then we're into the weird little finale, and I got some nice notable names to nourish your noggins. Back over to Cardi B. Over here we can tack on 21 Savage and Maroon 5. 21 chains onto a Boogie with a Hoodie, 6ix9ine and Bobby Shmurda. Maroon 5 also of course ties in Adam Levine, and we bring in Gym Class Heroes from there. Now back to Ty Dolla $ign, we can then link in Kanye West and Skrillex, and from Ye we get Jay-Z, then Justin Timberlake, formerly and now unformerly of NSYNC. JT also gets us Duran Duran, who gets us Tove Lo, who finally brings in Marina, with no diamonds to speak of. Skrillex's branch next, we've got Syra, Young Lean, and Akali, with Akali roping in Denzel Curry. From here we can snag on Smino and Josiah, and from him comes Rico Nasty, and from her we get Lil Fag and PP Cocaine. And Trap Bunny Bubbles gets this next youngin, and Elijah Daniels is a member of Adam and Steve, who have collaborated with Waterparks. And with that, the big climax. From here, we enter the
Content Music Hell Spiral.
But how do we even get to the
Content Music Hell Spiral?
Well, remember all the way back at the start, Lil Peep's tied to Juicy J? Well, from him, we get Katy Perry and then Snoop Dogg. Put a pin in that for now. Snoop Dogg gets us D-Smoke, therefore Rare Americans, and we can also get Lil Dicky and Ollie Murs, and Ollie Murs goes to Flow Rider and Rizzle Kicks. Now, that pin we put in Snoop. Mr. Dogg was, as we all know, the star of epic rap battles of history, Moses vs Santa Claus. And with ERB, the chains are off. Now, ERB have also had Watsky and Weird Al as guests, and Watsky gets us Kate Nash and Holy Child. And Al brings on Portugal the Man and Sir Chloe. Not just them, fellow ERB alumni are Rhett and Link and Dan Bull, and Dan is going to lead us from here. Dan Bull brings in 6 Seconds, who is also a collaborator with Shofu. Shofu snags us Nate Wants to Battle, Peso Pete, and Random Encounters. From Random Encounters, we get to the heart of the Hell Spiral. CG5. CG5 rivals Gorillaz in usefulness for this, linking onto Elise Lovelock, Abdul Cease, The Living Tombstone, Tubbo, Bad Boy Halo, Nola Klopp, Hyper Potions, and Captain Sparkles. Sparkles gets us Tryhard Ninja, The Stupendium, and Cam Steady, also known as VGRB. Next, Hyper Potions ties us to Game Chops and then VGR. TLT branches off to Christina V, Camellia, Scartoon Network, Kellen Goff, Mew, and Eurobeat Brony, responsible for the hardest piece of Brony fan creation there may ever be. Abdul Cease actually leads us to an interesting path, taking us to Salem Elise, and from there we get to Sam Felt and Alan Walker, who really do not belong down here. Also very out of their natural habitat are Alan Walker collaborators Ava Max and Avicii gets us to Imagine Dragons and JID. Why did I put all these down here? I have no idea! Ava also links us to Tiesto, to Robin Schulz, to James Blunt, because nothing makes sense in the Content Music Hell Spiral. Okay, back to content, nearly done. Random Encounters gets us Markiplier, who then ties to Starbomb, who is Ninja Sex Party, who is Skyhill, but Skyhill isn't Starbomb, got it! NSP also ties to Tupperware Remix Party, and Starbomb with Rachel Bloom. And finally, in conclusion, Random Encounters gets to Adriana Figueroa, who has collaborations with Family Jewels, and of course, Ace of Hearts, who from there get us Deanna Gowland and Johnny Manchild and the Poor Bastards. And that was a massive fucking waste of both of our time. And there you have it. This has been a huge passion project for me, so If you've made it this far, thank you so much. It really means a lot. I'm very open to doing a part 2 of this, because I know I missed a huge amount of people I noticed just while editing it together, so feel free to leave in the comments any suggestions you have for a follow-up to this eventually, because I need a break from this. Editing this video has been hell. But again, thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe for whatever havoc I have cooking up next. Like the video if you did like it, and I will see you probably next year, but we'll see. Bye.